Welcome to the Fuel Only Podcast, Joe.
What's going on?
I'm a little perturbed today.
My name is Joey. That's Shane. He's a little perturbed. The IT guy is on vacation again, and we're having some issues. So it's gonna sound like he's calling in again.
Joey,
I don't know what he's got going on over there. I don't know what's going on.
I got a new mic, a new cord.
Cord.
A new mic, new cord. Same problem.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of going in and out. Like you get quiet and then you come up. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what's going on. Maybe you need a new computer now. That's the only thing left.
Hi, Joe. IT guy's on the ropes again. We let him off last week. Not today.
It's bad.
So I'm a little pissed off, but we're gonna do rapid fire podcast today, Joey.
Yeah, he's not in the mood for stages. He's kind of feeling like Kyle Larson after the race. On Sunday.
You dirty dog.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Is it too soon?
Joey, what'd you think of Darlington? The track too tough to tame.
I liked it. It was a little too tough to tame. I enjoyed the race. I thought there was a lot of different things going on, different stories, a lot of action.
Strategies.
It started early. Ryan Blaney wanting to kill people. I mean, I don't know who says that over radio. I mean, he literally
not smart.
He admitted to saying he was going to kill someone.
I'm going to kill them both.
Yeah, like double homicide on the radio.
Dude, you ever been 3 wide before? Chill out.
Yeah, he just got squeezed. I mean, that's racing. That is racing. Yes, it happens. And he was just there's no way, if we pulled up every race that Ryan Blaney's run, there's no way he hasn't done that to someone, whether it's on purpose, on accident, and that's just, you got the short end of the stick that time. It's like getting caught up in an accident. I know it sucks, but I mean, like Tyler Reddick, he not that he meant to do what he did, but he knew, I'm going to dive bomb. I don't know why with 4 or 5 whatever laps were left, it didn't make sense, but be a little patient. But what he did, it was like, okay, go up to him, Blaney, you have that right. But like, they're racing 3 wide and, Truex got a little loose. He came up and he went into him. It's not like it was, I don't know. Yeah. A lot of people were upset.
I think Blaney's feeling the heat, Joe. I think he's feeling the pressure.
He is. He hasn't won in 12
Not
races.
having a great year.
No, he's not having a great year. I was listening to Denny Hamlin's. Do you listen to Denny Hamlin's podcast?
No.
Oh, he didn't listen to it this week. And he talked about Blaney. And he said when he puts that helmet on, it's too tight. It cuts off the circulations because he's the most quiet guy ever. And when he gets under that helmet and in that race car, he becomes psychotic. And Denny Hamlin's saying this, and I'm thinking, damn, he's got to race with this dude next weekend. But he's like, yeah, he puts that helmet on, it cuts off his circulation because he's freaking psychotic when he gets in the race car. And when you talk to him outside, he's quiet, just so quiet and doesn't say a word.
Chill.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm trying to think what else.
Yeah. So Joey, what I love about Darlington is especially with those long runs and how hot the track was.
Yeah.
You see the cars come into pit and they're pulling the tires off and there's just smoke and steam just pouring out.
Yeah.
It's like these cars are on fire, Joe.
Yeah. Every pit, you just see the smoke just coming all up from everywhere. And it's badass. It is. It's a fun racetrack. I like it. I love it, actually. I'm trying to think. So
Ford is on the board, Joe.
That's what I was going to say. Ford is on the board. RFK got it done. And I don't know if we talked about it last week. We might've been just talking to each other during the week, before. And I said, you had seen the Penske truck. And I said, the only one to get it done is going to be RFK. If it's going to be,
you called it.
So they were so close. And I mean, Buescher, to be so close again.
Did you see the in-car of those 3 racing that they posted?
Yes.
NASCAR posted?
Yes.
So Buescher's trying to be a good teammate. I mean, well, at this point, Larson's already gone, so I'll just, Larson didn't have it. He was in Paris, he's in Paris watching Taylor Swift. And we should have known, Joe, that was the kiss of death for Larson.
See, yeah. Yeah, the fact that we thought Larson could win after going to see Swift. I mean, come on. The Lib Swift. Come on.
But back to the in-car, Joe. So,
yeah.
Reddick and Brad were racing it out, and Buescher's just hammering Brad, trying to push him.
Oh, that one, I thought he was going to take him out. He hit him so hard from the back. Oh my God.
So he's hammering him, and then finally he's like, screw this, I'm going to go low. I'm going to go low and go around him, because they were both like, they were door banging a little bit.
They were door banging. They kind of got up, got loose, and Buescher was able to go right by.
And then that kind of broke up Brad and Reddick. And then Buescher has the race in his hands, and I'm thinking maybe a little redemption for last week, right?
Yeah.
And Reddick, your boy Reddick does the dive bomb move, which was so bad.
Which was so bad with how many laps left. It didn't make any sense.
He had got within like a car length or two, and he was running the top. And
yeah. So what are you doing that for? When?
And then he went low, and then rather than trying to race him door to door around, I don't know what turn that was, but instead of doing that, he drives right into him.
Yeah, like, he lets off, and it just gets loose, and he just goes straight up the track. And I'm like, and I don't know. What do you think about his apologies? Do you think that's...
Well, he kept the helmet on, which is great. I love that
beginning.
Move.
Denny said that he didn't. He was standing up for his guy, his race car driver. He said, no, he was getting ready to take it off, and he was getting it undone. And I'm like, it literally was on while they were talking the whole time until the last second, when he knew that Buescher had calmed down maybe just a smidge. But I was listening to Harvick, and Harvick goes, I don't like all of that apologizing. Like, you literally just, no, you go out there and you say, I was racing for the win. That's it. I was racing for the win.
I think you say that, but that was such a bad move.
It was so bad.
I think the only way to save face there, if you're Reddick, is just to go, man, I went for it, and it was bad.
Yeah, because you have to. Because listen here, Reddick, I think is on the cusp, if not right there, of being a championship favorite. I'm not saying he's 1 or 2, but he's on the
top
cusp.
5.
He's top 5, 6. So if you go the opposite route, I mean, there's no way that if Buescher doesn't win a race the rest of the year and he doesn't make the playoffs, I mean, I think he will. So you don't win the championship. There's no way, if you're in Phoenix and that guy has a chance to win it. I mean, he's either going to race you really hard and screw you that way, or he's just going to be like, I don't give a shit. This guy, he didn't care about me. I'm going to go make a stupid move and see what happens. And Reddick, I think, has to do that. I think it was the right thing. I fucked up. I went for it. It was horrible. I let off. I tried to stop, and it was too late. And I'm
watching it, and Buescher goes, I don't have that sticker on my car.
Exactly. It means more.
And
I
thought he was talking about the Jordan sticker at first.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he doesn't have great sponsors or whatever.
Right.
But he was talking about the win. He doesn't have a win yet.
Yep.
So I thought that was interesting.
No, 100%. And it does. It means more. I don't know what Reddick was thinking. And the only thing that I don't understand about it, I understand going for it, talking about that. Of course, go for it. But I don't know, were there 5, 6 laps left? I don't even remember. 4 laps? Why not be patient and do that in the last turn? Why wouldn't you see if you can get him first? Why? It just was so quick when he got to his bumper. It was like the next turn, bam, he goes for it. Buescher, they were even talking about it on. Buescher was taking the middle, kind of lower middle, and Reddick was going high every time, almost like Larson.
Yeah.
The last week. So I didn't understand. I wanted to see more to see if, Buescher was going to, start riding his line. And then he just dive bombs the next turn. And it didn't. That's what I don't understand. I get going for the win. I get it. But why so early? And why not being patient to see if, hey, maybe the 17 gets loose, or maybe, with him mirror driving, you're getting him, and you're going to, I don't know. That was my take on it. I don't know what you think, because I think going for the win is always right. Go for it,
Yeah, at that racetrack, you got to be up top if you want to win. And Reddick, I get Reddick's move, but you gotta like door bang him there, or race him somewhat clean. Yeah. But don't just send it. Don't just send it in and then just say, "Oh shoot,"
Yeah, it means nothing. That means nothing. Like, oh shoot,
weak. It was just a weak move.
Yeah,
it was weak.
It's like driving 120 down the road and getting pulled over and be like, oh shoot. And I was going for it, like, oh shoot, like no, like I don't know. It's not a great example, but it's like doing something that you know is bad, and then being like, oh shoot, man, dang it.
Especially when it's on national TV.
Yeah, I wish I could take it back. Like no, like there's
But
consequences with NASCAR.
What I will say, Joe, big picture is NASCAR's had a couple of guys who haven't won in a long time win this year. Good to get Chase on the podium and an emotional Brad Keselowski with the daughters. Cool. He had a tear in his eye, Joe.
Yeah, it was cool to see him. You know, I never liked Brad, and I'll be completely honest, I never liked him. He was that young Joey Logano. Them two kind of had that same demeanor going on. And Brad and Joey, just I've learned to like them, and I like them a lot more than I have. They've grown up. You know, I don't think, you know what I was thinking about? Like Joey Logano, who was hated, like Kyle Busch, is there anybody hated in that? Like, is there anybody to where like every single week that guy's booed? Like that you don't, it's like a new guy.
Well, Denny had a moment, but
exactly, but he's older. I'm saying, you know how there was so many when we were younger. And there's nobody. And I'm thinking, Brad used to be booed. Joey Logano used to be booed. It's not really like that anymore. I guess it's Denny because he kind of created that.
Bad guy.
Kyle Busch is older now, so people don't care as much. But yeah, it was good to see Brad. I enjoyed it. You know, it's good to get another winner. You know, I thought, you know, we were gonna have 4 win. We know a 4 winner by now. 4 win. Geez, excuse me. 4 race winner by now. And we haven't got it, so it's good. And now we go to another track next week, and you know, it could be Denny. So maybe I'll get my 4 wins there.
Well, two things before we wrap up. I want to say on Brad. When I first started watching him, Brad was in the 2 car, and man, he would always have these crazy restarts. Like it would be late in the race, and Brad would go low. And I always thought he was such a good driver. I loved watching him in that white 2.
Yep.
And then he goes, you know, and does his own team thing, and God bless him. And then what did you tell me this week? Harvick said that Ford was working on a new engine.
Yes, but that's what Harvick had said. They were talking about how they were bringing a new engine this week. They weren't sure how it was going to work out or what was going on. They weren't going to give their specifics, but they were tweaking stuff, and I mean it worked. So it's like, but
was Ford? It just I mean, was it
just RFK though? Was it just RFK? Because I mean, Blaney and the guys. I mean, I don't know. I guess we didn't get to see Blaney. Logano looked good. He was running top 5 for a second. So I guess maybe.
I think if you're Ford at this point, it's everybody against you. So you might as well share. You know, share whatever you got with your guys.
Yeah, you have nothing. Yeah, you have nothing to lose. And then what else were you going to say? You had something else about Brad?
Oh no, the 2 things were Brad. I loved watching Brad race when I first started watching, and then the other thing was that Ford brought the new engine. So
got you. And then so the other thing too, we were talking about the in tournament next year.
Oh yeah. Do you have details on that?
For $1 million. Yeah, so it'll be, what is it? So a 5 race in tournament or in season tournament, and I had it right here where I sent it to you. You know, where is it? Right. Awesome. Here it is. Yeah. So in NASCAR debut in season tournament with $1 million prize in 2025.
Nice.
It says the top 32 drivers will be placed in an NCAA tournament, you know, type bracket, in which the head-to-head result of each matchup will determine who advances, which is pretty crazy.
That's cool.
So it's kind of cool because it is and it's not, because if say you're not good at that track, like Bubba Wallace is going to be, say he's higher up in points, is going to be seated higher. If we go to a track like a road course and he's against someone that's a little bit lower, I mean, you can be knocked out. There's going to be a lot of craziness because it's not the same course every single, you know, like the NCAA tournament, like you're on a basketball court. It's all the same. You know what I mean?
And then I wonder if stage points will matter, because if you're racing for the win, a lot of these guys will not try to get stage points. They'll try to get the win.
Exactly. And it says seeding is going to be based off of the highest result of each driver over 3 races preceding the tournament. So ties will be broken by their second best finish, then by their spot in the season standings. So it's going to be kind of crazy. So I guess they're going to say the 3 races leading up to it will seed you. And then those next 5 races, you know, it might be Chase number 1. Yeah, you know, going up against 32, 2 versus, you know, I mean, how are we going to do, you know?
Chase versus Ty Dillon, Joe.
Yeah. Oh God. You know, we're going to find out. I think it's exciting though. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, when you throw $1 million on the line, I think that was the payout for the All-Star race, right? Didn't they do $1 million for the All-Star race last year? So you do that, and
this year,
you know, money talks, S walks. So I think people, you know, I think they'll take it seriously. They took it seriously in the NBA, right? What's funny is you had all those guys. But you had all these guys that were like making $300,000 annual salary, and they won the in-season tournament. And they're like, "Whoa, that's got $1 million. That's got $1 million check." You know? Like,
yeah, but did people take it serious? And that's the thing. Like LeBron James and the Lakers won it. Nobody says like nobody gives a shit about the in-season championship tournament. You know what I mean?
They hung a banner at Staples.
Like, do you know how sad that is? Like Kobe's rolling over in his grave. Like an in-season tournament championship to celebrate that, an in-season.
Oh man.
There's one goal when you race, you play basketball, football, is to hold the trophy at the end of the season. Like, so that's where I'm saying I get there. As long as there's no trophy, as long as they don't call him a champion, as long as there's none of that, it's like, oh, you're the in-season tournament winner. You won the $1 million. You know what I mean? But that's the problem I think with the football or the basketball one is like they posted or they hung a banner and like LeBron and like he's a champion and like held the trophy up and like it's like, come on, I don't know. It's
stupid.
It's
but
just
Joey,
weird.
are you ready for let's say Texas next year? Denny and Chase, or Chase and Larson, or Larson and Denny for $1 million, wrecking each other.
It's going to be interesting because
I'm ready.
But that's the problem. What are they going to do? Are they going to take points away from it? Because if they take points away from it, we're going to have some real racing. Because if you're not losing points and you're not losing, you're definitely racing hard. But if you're, you know, you got to make these points, get the stage points. You got to get your points. You know, you're like Chase has done all year. Like I sent you that thing. You know, we joke back and forth about Larson and Chase and who's running Hendrick and blah 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 blah. You know, if this was Jeff Gordon era, Chase Elliott would be first in points. Like that's unreal. He would be first in points. And, you know, Harvick or Boy or whoever was saying something, he goes, he has been the best this year at just maintaining and just running races.
No DNFs, right?
Yeah. And just finishing races and getting good spots. I mean, he had 5 out of 6 in a row, top 5s. His team screwed him last week. The qualifying was horrible. And he worked his way up to 15th. Then they screw him again. He goes back to 30th, works his way all the way back up to 12th. And it's like, he's come alive. But I hope that the tournament is, for some reason, they can't add 5 races. You can't do that. But then how do you add points? And it's going to affect, because you're still playing for the end game of points at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's my biggest question. Is how they're
if you're doing that is no one's going to, you know, no one's going to do this or do that to do anything. If you're going to lose, if you wreck and now you lost points for everything and the $1 million. So I don't know. I guess, you know, once they come out with more, you know, info on it, we'll find out. But yeah, speaking of all-stars, or, you know, speaking of $1 million, you know, we got the all-star race and, you know, I rewatched last night and it was Larson winning in the trucks. Do you remember that? It blanked on that. Larson won in the HendrickCars.com truck last year at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, and then he won the All-Star race.
And I forgot about the trucks.
That All-Star race was pretty wild, though. I watched it back as well. And he's just driving by people like they're standing still.
Yeah.
And it made me wonder, did NASCAR let him soup up his car a little bit? Or, you know, I mean, I feel like his car was just so much better than everybody else's.
Yeah, and you never know. But it's going to be different this year. It's been repaved. So it's going to be a whole new track. They don't even know what's going to happen. Obviously, some guys have tested it out. We were going to look into
Yeah,
that.
do you know who? I just pulled it up. I pulled it up. Byron,
Okay.
Gibbs, and Logano put a variety of Goodyear tire compounds and constructions to the test Wednesday. This was in March.
March, yeah,
for 2 days. And
last month, 2 months ago.
Let's see. Logano, they did a good job. There's still some character. It's a unique shaped racetrack, which is all good. There's a big bump down turn 1. Who else? Let's see if we get any other good quotes. No lap times were provided since the test fell under Goodyear's jurisdiction, but Logano noted we were hauling ass. With the speed he found in the new pavement, Byron laughed in second and said, it seemed like mash throttle, mash brake.
Yeah, they were talking about the speed that there's going to be at this track. So it's going to be faster. Wow, Gibbs. Then he has to race his way in, though. Because I saw that
Gibbs has to reach his, but I'm sure he will.
Yeah, he's 2-1 or whatever to beat. Bubba's not in either, though. So I don't know, because Bubba's racing in the open. So I don't know. There's a set that are in the race, and then I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how that's working. And I guess they'll have the first one at 2:30, second one at 5. Well, that's Eastern time, so we'll be at 11:30. But Gibbs, that's gonna be interesting if he wins the first one, is if he has enough to compete in the second. And I mean, Larson, what are we gonna do here? He's gonna have Harvick in for 2 days doing it.
That'll be entertaining.
And then he's gonna jump in and know nothing about the car. I mean, it's going to be set up to Harvick's liking.
Even though he just won there. He just won there last year.
Exactly. So, I don't know. But it's going to be exciting. I mean, and it's going to be night. It's going to start at 5:00. So, and they're racing for $1 million, no points on the line. You see all kinds of crazy shit because, it means more when you're racing towards the end of the season. You're still going to be pissed off if you lose, $1 million, but who knows? We'll see.
We'll do our weekly weather check for old Larson. Indianapolis, Joe. Sunday, 84 and clear.
Gotcha.
There was a question. There was a question that if it rained or if there was any delay, Larson said, my priority is to race the Cup car. So He has a backup driver at the 500 in case he has to leave early.
Well, that's just for practice, right?
Well, the Indy 500's Sunday morning.
Not this Sunday.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the same day. It's this Sunday.
Is it?
I'll double check. Little on air Googling.
On air. We don't disagree on much except Larson and Chase, but are you sure it's this Sunday?
So yeah, they're doing practice this week. Kyle Larson makes huge progress during Wednesday's Indy 500 practice.
But the race until next Sunday.
I think it's this week. It's May 26th. You are correct. Damn.
Yes. Okay.
So that's why. So he's just gonna.
That's for the Coca-Cola 600.
Yeah. So that's why he said his priority, because otherwise he's just missing the All-Star race, and then
exactly. Yeah. That's why that's a big deal. But he said if there's anything, because I was gonna say I thought it had to do with a real race, and that's why. So Charlotte, the Coca-Cola 600, he won't miss. He won't miss that at all.
No, that's Charlotte too. That's gonna be a good one.
It sucks. It would suck totally for him to miss. I texted you this week. I can't wait to see Harvick. I can't wait to see Larson race in the Indy. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So that's 2 weeks. They have a week, and that's what we were talking. Harvick or it's so I watched and I listened to so many different things, so many different podcasts, and then Harvick's and Hamlin, and they were saying, look at all the practice that goes into Indy. And look what goes in 20 minutes for NASCAR.
It's crazy.
I mean, something, and Jimmy Johnson's been ripping that. We have an issue with practice. 20 minutes. When he raced, it was an hour and a half and an hour and a half. I mean, we're talking 3 hours total back in the day. And now, Indy, you have a week. And you have 20 minutes on Saturday.
Crazy, man.
I mean, that's why. And I mean, it's nothing against the little teams, and it's nothing against, guys that aren't as good, but that's why the big dogs, that's why it's, the guys that have figured out the car, that have the technology with Hendrick. Harvick. So you didn't listen to Harvick's either? You didn't see anything on what he said about Hendrick?
No.
He was raving about him.
Like Shane, the way they do business?
Shane, he was raving about him and kind of contemplated, God, if I would have went here instead of Stuart Haas, what my career would have been like.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? He said he walked into Hendrick ready for his seat fitting and all that stuff. Everything was done and perfect. He didn't have to do a thing. Didn't have to say anything. It was all set up perfect. He said the execution from Hendrick getting his seat and all that from his Stuart Haas days and the crew chief, his ex-crew chief, he said that it was unreal, the execution and how hard it is to execute that. And he got in and it was perfect. And he goes, Hendrick is just, it's just unreal. It's a different animal. And it's why, you know, I don't know if it was him or someone that was talking. He goes, it's why Hendrick lives rent-free in every other team member's heads every week. The fans that hate Hendrick because of how dominant, just how they are as a team. It's unreal.
If only they'd stop screwing Larson in the pits, Joe. Then I'd have nothing to. Then I'd have nothing to bitch about.
You know, it's yeah, but
yeah, that's going to be really cool. Harvick doing his thing. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, it's going to be cool because he's going to do that for 2 days, and Larson's going to come back and race it. So we're going to have that input from Harvick up in the, doing the race, calling the race, which is going to kind of be cool.
And Larson will be racing cold on a brand new track.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to put it in the simulator because I'm sure.
But
they
can
have
you put a simulator to a brand new track? I mean, how close?
And Larson's in Indy.
Exactly. He's not getting any. He's going to show up Sunday morning ready to go. So it's kind of weird. I don't know how to take. I mean, I'm definitely. You're not going to be betting. Are you going to be betting him? Not as our picks, but are you going to be throwing money on him
for the All-Star race?
Yeah.
I mean, Joey, we're going to get to the odds here, but at his current number, I don't know how I couldn't bet him.
So you just if you want to donate some money, you can just, send it over to me. I don't think he has any chance in winning. But the crazy thing is he's Larson. But
last year, Joe, he was awful in qualifying. They made a bunch of big changes on his car. They changed it completely. And he just drove to the front.
Exactly. That's what scares me. So that's why
you
saying I'm that. How do you not throw money on him? Because
at a short track like this, Joey, I hope that we don't have our usual short track racing that we've had this year.
And that's what
where it's follow the leader.
We talked about that. We talked about that. We said, oh no, yeah. I texted you and I said, NASCAR is in such a good spot right now because these finishes and these races have been so good. It's just because we've been away from short tracks. Are we getting to this? God, I hope not, because you can't have an all-star race be a dud. If people can't move around, if they can't even try to race, if they can't even try to take each other out to get a spot and bump and run, and if you can't, then we're in some trouble. And I hope it's not that way because it'll be trouble. And it's it's a Saturday night, $1 million on the line. That's what every NASCAR fan, every race car driver, that's what they want to do. They want to get out there. Kyle Larson races for 20 grand on Thursday night. And
I know,
I mean, come on, you're racing for $1 million, 500,000, 400,000 after taxes, Bidenomics. But I don't know. I hope it's
so. The tracks that are close to that would be, of course, Martinsville, Bristol, and Richmond. So exactly. It's in that size. It's 0.6 of a mile, Joe.
It's Dennyville, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But you know what? Denny. Byron raced really, really well at a short track earlier this year, and so did Logano.
And he tested.
And they both have been there. So when you make your picks, Joe, here in a minute.
And he's had bad luck. Byron's had some bad luck. So, and
let's do our picks, Joe. Who do we do? So we got our odds courtesy of.
I don't even need to look at him. I'm going Byron.
Joe, you dirty dog. Odds courtesy of DraftKings. Denny Hamlin 5.5 to 1. Byron 6 to 1. Bell 7.5. Larson 8.5. Blaney 9. Logano 9. Truex 10. Chase 10. Reddick 12. Buescher, Brad, Busch.
Wow. Reddick not bad. 12 to 1. That's a good value on Reddick. Who's I think he's going to race like a scared dog though. Now, if he makes any more enemies, I don't know. Bell did it. Bell created an enemy, and now he hasn't been the same.
Now he sucks.
He hasn't been the same. So let's keep an eye on. That's one thing. Hey, mark this. What are we? May 16th at 1:12. Let's keep an eye on Reddick, because after something like that, at least with Bell, he's become shy. He's become, I don't know. It's weird. So what's going to happen with Reddick? I don't know. Let's keep an eye on that.
So you're going to take William Byron 6-1, Joe.
I'm going Byron. He's tested there. He showed great stuff on the short tracks. Yeah, I'm going Byron.
I am going to go Martin Truex Jr.
I took him last week, and that was what's up with my bad luck in picking drivers?
I don't know. Stay away from the 5. Martin Truex Jr. 10-1, Joe.
10-1 is great value for a guy that
he's a short tracker.
He's a short tracker. He hasn't won. It doesn't matter if he wins this week. So he may. That's what scares me, though. So let's get into this real quick.
Go for it.
On a track that means nothing, who's the dirtiest racer there is right now?
Chastain and Bubba gonna have some action.
And Hamlin. He doesn't give a shit for a race that means something. He
remember the clash?
And remember what were we watching? What race was it when he got on the Buescher? So his first thought was, God, he let Buescher let the 5 go around. My ass would have put him in the wall. It's like,
yep.
What? Like, come on, dude. So now this is a race. He's going for $1 million, and it doesn't mean much. So the drivers aren't going to hold it against you as much. But I mean, how do you? I'm not going to take Hamlin, but how do you go against a guy that his number one thing is this guy ain't beating me, I'm gonna put him in the wall. Or, a guy like Buescher, he's been nice twice now, unfortunately. And it just sucks. He waited. He could have, going back to that finish last week, he could have, while they were racing, he could have taken and gone by his owner, and he let up and he stayed back. He's watching them racing. And then it was like they got into each other. So now I'm going for how nice the guy's been.
The pressure, you can see the pressure's wearing on him though a little bit.
Yes, and does he become like this? He might be a good pick this week. What were his odds?
Buescher is 14-1. Not necessarily a short tracker though by nature.
No, but what if he comes out there like, all right, nothing's been working.
Out of my way.
Nice. Get the out of my way. Yeah. I'm taking you out. I'm taking you out. I'm taking you out. And if there's 2 laps left and he's 3rd or 4th, I'd text you and say he's winning the race, because he needs to feel that. He needs to feel that. Like, I don't even know, like, how is he feeling 2 weeks in a row to get taken out and the week before to have it and then not? How do you recover and how do you get through the week? And, I'm going to have to listen to his interviews when they get, they start doing everything, because that's tough. But all right, well, we're getting there. I don't know. So how's this? I was going to look up the schedule.
Yeah. So,
for this weekend,
they're going to do breaks. So they're going to race 200 laps, Joe, and they're going to do different tire compounds. So you can pick soft or hard tires.
Yes. They're going to have the options. There's going to be little F1 type
breaks at lap 100 and 150. So looks like they'll race 100 miles. They'll break. They'll race 50, they'll break, and then they'll have a final phase. That last 50 laps, Joe, I'd expect those are money laps.
Exactly. So let me see. Here we go. This is the North Wilkesboro. Here we go. So Friday, tomorrow we will have. Okay. Oh, perfect. So tomorrow is qualifying. We got truck practice, cup practice, open qualifying. So that's for the open. That's for the first one. Then we have cup qualifying. And then. So wait, did you check the rain?
I checked rain in Indy. I did not check rain in North Wilkesboro.
This says on Friday 65% and Saturday says 85%.
Yikes!
That's not
East
good.
Coast. East Coast still getting a lot of rain. North Wilkesboro.
Sunday says 60%, 20% at night.
Yeah, iPhone says 45%, and it says rain till about 7, 8 o'clock, 9 p.m. So 9 p.m. the rain stops. We'll see what happens. You know how the weather can change, but
Exactly. Yeah, over there especially. So we may have some rain.
so Harvick might get screwed out of all of the stuff he wants to do.
Yes. Because the race last night got the Cars Tour lineup got rained out. Okay, and that was one thing I was going to talk to you about too. God, so we did our picks a little early, but this is the last thing we'll talk about. They were talking about like with NFL starting, and they were saying so September. It starts in September. They were talking about with the scheduled release last night for the schedule or for NFL. And it says they were saying, you know, why can't they race Saturdays? Get them on Saturdays when the NFL starts. And
they can't though because Fox has college football.
Yeah,
that's why it screws everything up. They could run FS1, but that might also be college football.
Yeah, it just, you know, it makes sense because it is hard. You know, you're going up against the NFL, but
actually, you know what? I misspoke, Joe, because they'll be on NBC by then, right?
Oh, in the fall. Yeah, they moved to NBC.
NBC doesn't have football, so that's why they run. That's why they run Sundays on NBC.
Yes,
but NBC has Notre Dame on Saturday.
On Saturdays, exactly.
So that's why they get screwed.
Yes, you know, and that was one of the things they were saying. You know, because they, especially, you know, if the NFL moves if they add another game and they move to Sunday, the third week in, or what is it? Labor Day, Memorial Day.
What if they move this month?
Labor Day. So Labor Day. What if they move the Daytona's always the 18th, 19th, somewhere around there? What if they move the Super Bowl back a week? And
they talked about that. They talked about moving the Super Bowl back.
Yeah. So it's like, then what does NASCAR do? The Daytona, it's always been the Daytona 500. Then you have, I mean, what do you do? 2 Super Bowls on one Sunday? It's impossible. You know, so we'll talk about that one other day. And I'm glad we had this rapid fire. I kind of like, you know, I'm all for the stages and stuff, but I like that we just get to say and talk. And, you know, I get a little caught up on just going and talking.
It's hard when you have a really good race and then you have to wait till stage 1 and you want to talk about it in the intro, you know?
Exactly. It becomes an issue. And, you know, I don't have patience. My patience aren't great. So, oh man. So, God, seeing where were we? Where'd we just?
I think we're about
Darlington.
Yeah, Darlington was
fun.
Right,
Darlington. It was fun. On to North Wilkesboro. Let's do it. All-star race tomorrow. I guess we get it started. We'll see how the rain goes. So, this weekend, please drink responsibly.
God bless America.